It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the stretch drive in the National Hockey League.
Wow.
Was that exciting or what? Woo!
Oh, it was kind of boring.
What? I put everything I had into that, Cass.
It was
Jeez.
good. You know what? It was awesome.
Thank you. It's episode 41 of Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Joaquin Gage, Matt Cassian, and Hernan Salas, the producer who's so shitty that the rest of the nation guys took his mic away with them to Vegas, but he's found another one. Hernan, let's test that bad boy. Is it going to work?
Test 1 2 1 2.
Ooh, it sounds better than ours.
Ooh.
This one's for like it's professional for like singers and stuff.
Oh.
So
Why? Yeah. Why do you have
Give us
that?
a
got
preview.
the, good old,
Let us hear it.
What's that mic sock? That
How
big
do
thing
you-
on there.
How do you feel? Is that even the lyrics?
Oh, that sounds good, though.
I feel good.
I feel good. All right.
Post-deadline day edition here of Two Guys and a Goalie. Presented to you by Oddshark. They are a presenting sponsor, a big part of what we're doing here. Visit them for all of your sports betting needs at oddshark.com. I'll say this right now, and this is being recorded on a Tuesday afternoon, so if you're listening on Wednesday, I might look like a genius or a huge asshole, but I like the Oilers tonight against the Ducks if you're betting some money. Don't you think like a little bit of a bump in the lineup? I would have to think that they get going tonight, right? Do you guys want to give me $20 a piece and we'll turn it into 24?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? You don't think they'll win tonight?
No, I don't.
I think they win.
Thank you,
I don't-
Cass.
I want them to win. Don't get me wrong. I want them to win.
You know what?
How did they lose?
I don't know if they do. You know what would a guarantee to win is if they're playing at home. And do you know why?
With the new guys?
With the new guys, all of them in the lineup.
Yeah.
Because I could have put on a suit and walked right into the rink and said, I'm Mike Green, and no one would have batted an eyelash.
Is this
No
the
one
story
would
you
have
had to
batted an
tell?
eyelash.
Okay, I'll go. Get good. This is great. You do look like Mike
I look
Green.
exactly.
Have you ever been like-
Whoa. He looks like me.
Sorry, you.
Oh,
well,
sorry,
he's
yeah.
older, so you look like him.
Well, he looks
Sorry.
like me.
Have you ever
Actually,
been?
that started back in the minors. Everyone just, I think, have I gone through like the evolution of all my nicknames? Because I've had
we did that. You told us how you got to Assassination.
right, and then there was a whole like in the minors. I had a ton too. Like there was a
Greener?
it was Greener for a while. I was like when he was scoring. I think didn't he have 20? Did he have 25?
He had
one
20.
Year?
He had over 21 year
Over
for
20.
Sure, yeah.
It was that year, and yeah, they started calling me Greener.
What did
Sweet.
you have over 20?
No,
Oh,
but
I
just
was
because
gonna say.
we look
Penalty
identical.
minutes?
20 pips.
I'm,
Okay,
I'm a little bit heavier than he is now.
Well, let's get. You speak highly of yourself, Cass.
but that's true.
Come on.
Oh, he's tall.
Self-confidence.
How does he not?
It's funny because you brought that up because I was thinking, watching the Mike Green availability with the Oilers media or whatever last night. And I thought to myself, Mike Green looks like the guy who finishes third on Bachelor and then gets to be, or third on Bachelorette and then gets to be Bachelor the next time. Like that's just with that beard. It's a very Bachelor style beard. Does your wife ever refer to you having a Bachelor style look
No,
as well?
but on another note, my wife was supposed to be on The Bachelor.
What?
Yeah, it was right when we started dating. She
You are full of stories today.
No, her volleyball girls, because she was a volleyball coach
Okay.
teacher. Her volleyball girls submitted an application for her without telling her.
Okay.
Her team, and then all of a sudden she started getting calls from the producers, and she figured it was just. She was like, "This isn't real."
Yeah.
And then they kept calling and sent emails and leaving voicemails, and it was right. They started calling right after we started dating.
Wow.
It was I think the Sean Lowe season back
Oh,
then.
you know what? I liked Sean. And he ended up getting married?
Yeah,
He married.
I think
They're still together.
They're still together.
Yeah.
And so she always told me, she's like, he was Plan B.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
Could have gone on the show.
Do you think sometimes
I told her to do it. When she told me about it, I'm like, you should just go do it. And you should be the first person to like walk out of the limo, take a look at him, and just be like,
I'm out?
turn around and get back in the limo. I'm like, that'd be amazing.
That would
I
be
got a
good.
Mike Green lookalike at home,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna stay right there.
I'm with Greener.
Jeez, that's crazy. So she never
Never
she
did
didn't
it.
even go through the interview process or anything?
No, they forward her through it because the first phone call was like the pre-interview.
Yeah.
And then they started calling her after it, being like, "Hey, we really want you for the show." Like they already had moved. Like this was a couple months later. They kept calling and calling to try to get her on the show.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Southern Texas girl with a good moral background. They were-
Yeah, and
they
a
were all over
volleyball
that.
player, and wow.
I can't
Well,
believe.
she's pretty attractive.
Yeah. Well,
She
yeah, because
is,
they don't
she
they don't
is
bring a
really
bunch of
attractive.
uggos on The Bachelor, so
I saw her at the game. She's really good looking.
She's a good looking lady.
Yeah.
but
I wasn't made it creepy. I didn't keep looking. We were sitting and watching the game. It would have been weird if I was staring at her the whole time, but I didn't. And I can't believe I'm sitting with a final rose winner.
I know.
She
That's
would've
so
been-
cool.
Yeah, she probably would have won too.
That's
Oh, man.
really.
And then you
I don't-
probably
know
wouldn't
what?
even,
She
would
would've
you even
been- she
be
would
here?
have been she would have been perfect for the show because she cannot, like, her face betrays everything she's thinking. If there's one thing, like, one of the things I appreciate is I never know, or I always know if she's like upset with me. Like, I'm never guessing at what her current emotion is because it's all over her face. So she would have stared at some of those other girls that were train wrecks, and it would have been great TV because she would have just.
So it's not like standing bitch face, but it's like standing.
Oh, she's got a little bit of like
What's it called? Is that the
RBF.
Oh yeah, resting. Sorry, I don't know
yeah,
why,
she
I
looks
don't know
like
why I
she's-
said
no,
standing.
No, she sits.
No, but it was funny. Gager, it was kind of creepy because we're talking about it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, she is good looking." it was a little creepy.
Was it?
It was a little
It's
creepy.
okay.
yeah,
I know what
she's-
she meant. I know what she meant.
Yeah.
Ginger. It's
Yeah,
okay.
no, it was.
I
was all right.
can appreciate the beauty in another man's wife.
You're right. That's, you know what? In fact, it's the highest form of compliment.
Yeah.
It really is, right? If we weren't like, oh yeah, she's good looking, then you know that we're thinking like, oh, nice one.
Most of us play a little bit out of our league.
Oh.
All right. So
Yep.
Way out of.
That's about. I
way.
mean, well, look at us.
Yeah.
The fact that any of us are married means we're playing out of our league,
Exactly.
right? Except for Mike Green down there. That's good.
What about Hernan over there? Is he still?
I'm not married, but I'm not single.
Okay.
Look at Mr. Casanova over
I'm about
there.
a year into a relationship.
Oh, is it like a harem, like The Bachelor, or are you?
No, no.
Oh, you're
pretty
exclusive.
serious.
Oh, wow.
That's the most chicks you ever dated at one time.
One. Yeah.
No, I dated 3 one time.
Did you?
Yeah, for only about like 10
One's-
days, and one of them
One's
fed
enough,
off.
man. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine too.
No, you got to focus.
But you need the Costanza system where you got a buddy helping you with everything.
buddy system,
Yeah,
right.
that's not bad. All right, it's Two Guys and a Goalie presented to you by Oddshot. I can't not look at you now and see Mike Green. It's creeping
I was
me
gonna
out.
bring a mask and just put it on, and you guys wouldn't have even noticed.
That's right. Oh, wait, Cass, was that you under there the whole time? We're also, of course, sponsored by our friends at Sport Clip Haircuts, home of the MVP experience. They've signed on for a new location in Sherwood Park in addition to the one they have down in Ellerslie. In fact, you're looking a little shaggy,
I'm real
Cass.
shaggy. You can't see it because of the headphones, but my hair's sticking out over the ears, and it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
But leave that beard the same, though, right?
Yeah, you gotta
For
blend
the,
it
for
in.
the green look.
Why don't you just let it go for a bit?
The beard?
No, the hair.
Oh, dude, my hair is so straight.
Have you ever had your hair in a ponytail?
Close.
Really?
Well, I had it. It was a lot longer on top, and that was when the man buns were popular. And I threw it in once because it was just long enough to do that.
This just in. Man buns were never popular.
They were popular, Dusty. They were popular.
Gager, any
But I
comment on
didn't-
this?
I didn't actually do it.
I have no leg to stand on with the fall. I'm follically challenged.
I didn't actually do it.
You didn't do it?
No, but I could have.
I could never do it. My hair grows into an afro.
Carlson did it all the time, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's European.
It's okay to have a man bun.
Did he ever
he
put
did-
it in pigtails?
No,
That'd be an interesting
no, it
one.
was long though. It was
I wonder
long.
if I could get a back bun
What do you mean if you grew
Back
your
hair
hair out?
bun?
with my back hair. Yeah,
That's gross.
It is gross, but kind
That's
of cool.
gross.
I could probably have 2 or 3 back there.
Were there any guys?
I'd look like a reverse Princess Leia.
Did you play any guys with any guys that were like really, really hairy?
Yeah,
Who was the hairiest?
Darcy Martini. I told you this already.
No, you have not told us any Darcy Martini stories.
Oh my god,
Maybe you did.
Hardest shot ever.
No, you have
Like-
not told. No.
Yeah, he. We couldn't. I'll make it short and quick. He.
You don't have to. It's a podcast.
No, he was the guy that I talked about in the hotel room in Kentucky, and he slept naked, and the girl knocked.
yeah.
Remember that?
Okay. Yes.
So he was the hairiest guy. He. We had a mandate that we couldn't shave any rookies my first year pro, so he shaved his numbers in his back. It was number 38, and you could still see it at Christmas.
Seriously?
Full 38.
No
Yeah.
way.
God, I wish we had phones back then, because
Hey, did he do it by himself?
no, we all did it. Rookie party. It was whatever. Yeah. We were on Cape Breton. There wasn't much to do. Why not shave a guy's back? Why not shave his numbers in his back? I think actually one practice he came out shirtless. It was just funny. I mean, we even had a guy. He wore a Harley Davidson had bandana for warm up. You know how guys go bucketless? He wore his bandana out there. Yeah.
A Harley Davidson bandana? Jeez.
John Van Kessel. Yeah. He he wore his Harley Davidson. He also got jumped by everybody, and he fought Arnott one training camp. And, there wasn't any refs, really, so guys get in and break it up themselves. Yeah. But all the guys that went in and started punching Van Kessel because Arnott was, like, one of the big guys. So he basically he got the shit kicked out of him by, like, 6 guys. And no one else would go in there. It was just like Slapshot. You going in? No, I'm not doing anything.
Cass, hairiest guy you played with?
I was trying to think, and that's why I asked the question. I'm like, Chris Phillips was pretty hairy. He's a pretty hairy dude from the body. I'm trying to think. I'll probably remember halfway through.
Remember, if you don't know who it is, it's probably you. Just so you know. I have like a random stray back hair here and there. I have no chest hair, just so you know. Just to throw it out there.
Kevin Current, too. The Colonel. You'd be too young. Yeah, the Colonel. Like, he missed his pension by like 2 games. They wouldn't play him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he was a hairy man, too.
That's greasy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have your Popeyes chicken poll question a little bit later on as well. But it is deadline day, or it was deadline day yesterday. And I'm glad we didn't do the podcast. There was 32 trades on deadline day, which is absolutely insane. I think like 54 or 55 players moved. And for us here with the Nation Network and all of our Nation sites, the Oilers are actually the one that made the biggest splash yesterday. So, Cass, let's start there. Now, if you pre-deadline, and obviously we talked about this a little bit, but pre-deadline, if you would have said, what could the Oilers use? Your answers might have been, a little depth on the blue line, additional forwards up front. Maybe a guy like Tyler Ennis. In a perfect world, you get a top 6 winger as well. And if you could, it'd be nice if you didn't give up any first-round picks or prospects. And somehow, Ken Holland pulled that shit off. Like, how do you do it?
Wizard.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Wizard. I did not think, after the Green trade, I was like, there's no way they're getting Athanasio. There's no way. I mean, they would have done it in that trade. I thought that was over and done with. I thought the price was going to be too high. And then Ken Holland decides to go full Gandalf. Seriously, how did he, and even to get Ennis for a 5th, how did he get Ennis for a 5th? With a guy that's a skilled player with that small a cap hit, could fit in so many different teams. How did you get him for just a 5th? It was a great job by him.
It's a good point. I don't think we're talking enough about how did you get Tyler Ennis for a 5th, because we had Frank Saravalli, who's joined us on the podcast. He was on my radio show on Tuesday or Monday morning, and he said the asking price for Ennis right now is a 3rd. And I have a hard time believing with some of the guys that were going yesterday that another team wouldn't have been willing. Now, they obviously would have taken a 3rd, but why would nobody have given up a higher pick than a 5th next year for Tyler Ennis? Like, that is he's now, as of today, tied for 4th on the Oilers in scoring. Like, he's having a really good year, and for a guy that makes that much money, I mean, maybe we're missing something here, but that just seems like a sweetheart deal.
Yeah, it's P-tape. That's what I'm going with. Down at Boca Raton, he must hire some people to watch what these other GMs do, because he's got some dirt on people, and they have to
right?
Straight up it's straight up extortion.
Hey, listen,
yesterday.
Pierre Dorian, listen. Remember that time? Hey, no, you said what happens at the GM meeting stays. Yeah, well, guess what? I was kidding. I'm going to need Ennis for a non-essential pick next year.
Do you think that's with everyone's got dirt and Chiarelli, and that's
dude, Garth Snow must have Chiarelli for murder. That's the only way to pull the deal on that one. That's insane. Robin is watching on Facebook and says, Furnace died, and you guys are helping me pass the time until repair fellas show up. That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, if there's reasons that people want to listen to the podcast,
Furnace is breaking down.
Yeah, Furnace is breaking down as one reason that's up there and makes us probably the most proud. So that's great. With that being said, I do want to get to a comment here on our Apple's iTunes page from Vikes Ross. Is that one of your guys' aliases, or is this a real person?
I think this is real.
Hernandez, do you ever post
who's it
online
about?
as
No.
Vikes
I was
Ross?
going to say, who's it about?
I check them, though. I don't post.
It's just about all of us, actually. It says, easily the best podcast I subscribe to. Guys, always good for a laugh. Keep up the great work.
Thanks.
Now, for all we know, he only subscribes to one podcast, but whatever.
You're welcome.
Yeah. He will take it. All right, so we'll dive into the Oilers a little bit more as we work our way through this thing today. But let's quickly kind of go around all these Canadian teams and see what they did. Canucks got to Foley pre-deadline, and then they get that Markstrom news, so they go out and got Louis Domingue to kind of come in for a bit. Gager, you think not that these other teams aren't injured? I mean, Giordano, I think, is just getting back for Calgary. You know, the Oilers are banged up, but how much do injuries impact the Canucks here with Besser and Markstrom?
Well, those are two huge pieces of the puzzle for Vancouver. I don't know how they can recover from them. These are one of those moments where, like we talked about the Oilers, those galvanizing moments. Hey, we can do this without our big dogs. I still think they're kind of young to realize what type of situation and take advantage of it that way. They have to really rely on their veteran leadership to pull them through this. It's too bad. I was upset to see Markstrom go down and Besser, because with the addition of Toffoli, that looked kind of scary.
If you had Toffoli and then Besser healthy and Markstrom healthy, and look, Markstrom could be back. What do they say?
Yeah.
Like 3 to 4 weeks or whatever. So he could be back for the postseason, but it's a little bit of a buzzkill.
I'm just a little bit worried. He's had a Vezina Hart trophy like season with Markstrom. Toffoli's great because he plugs that hole a little bit, but
4 points in his first 2 games.
Yeah, but I think without I don't think that they can sustain what they have with Markstrom going out.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing for the Canucks is if you have Besser and Toffoli, I mean that's a huge add. And as you said, I think you summed it up, Gager. It's just a plug, and it's a good plug. Toffoli's a great player. He was a great addition. Would adding him with Besser just makes that much more of a difference. And then Markstrom is just anytime you lose a starting goalie.
Yeah, no matter who you are, right?
It's gonna sting.
Calgary added 2 defensemen, Forbort and Gustafsson. I think I saw that Gustafsson was going to be running their top unit power play, at least today at practice. Your thoughts on the Flames? Not doing anything too crazy, but adding some help on the blue line, Gager.
Well, I didn't know how long Giordano's out. Like, I thought he was coming back sooner than...
They say he might play tonight.
Okay, well, yeah, that's... I looked at that, and the only thing I thought, maybe he's out for longer. But he's coming back.
Bringing in 2 guys, yeah.
It didn't make much sense to me. Maybe, who's the guy that had the heart trouble or the passed out?
Brody.
Brody. Yeah, so maybe he's just coming back too, isn't he? Or so I don't... It didn't make much sense.
Trying to get some depth there, right?
Yeah, I guess just guarding against future injuries on the back end, which you do need for long playoff runs, I think.
Dusty, can you pull up their power play?
Calgary Flames power play? Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. Do you think?
Well, just as a question for both of you, Gustafsson, offensive player, plays a lot in the power play, a little bit suspect at times in his own zone. Do you think that's what the Calgary Flames needed to bring in?
Well, let's take a look at their power play percentage and see how much of a boost it actually needed. The Calgary Flames power play, 18th in the league, 19.9%. So you tell me, is that a number that you can live with?
Not to be successful in the playoffs. No, you need that at least over, I would say 21, 22% to.
Right now in the league, there are 13 teams at 21% or higher, and the Oilers are at 29%, which is almost 4% better than any other team.
Yeah, the Oilers power play is ridiculous. That's I see Mike Green as if something goes wrong, but I don't see where he fits in. I mean, he's a good player. Like, don't get me wrong, but he's an offensive guy. So I don't understand why. I mean, he excels offensively. Where are you going to put him on this? Like, the second unit doesn't get a lot of time on the.
Maybe they're trying to get a second unit.
Maybe
put
that's
together
it,
here. Maybe.
yeah.
I mean,
Why?
No, yeah, no. I mean,
why? You're 29%.
It's true.
Well, the only reason I could come up, I said the same thing, Gus, but just to cut down on minutes. You know, maybe
if you're winning like by 4 goals in a game, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're winning by 4 goals in a game, you could put anybody out on the power play, right?
That's the thing.
Does Green take Bear's spot like here in the next couple of games? Because Bear got the #1 unit last.
Are you talking just power play?
Power play, I mean power play.
That's because Nurse, I think, struggled.
Yeah.
More so.
So you'd leave Bear.
For now, I would leave Bear.
I would leave Green out. I'd leave myself out of the lineup.
I don't want to play on the power play.
Yeah.
You're scratching yourself like everybody for Rudy.
Yeah. I mean, we jumped away from the Flames there for a second, but does Gustafsson and like for Forbort, both of them, so 2 depth signings or depth trades.
Different types of defensemen.
Different types of defensemen. Does Gustafsson actually move the needle for the Flames?
I don't know. He was excellent last year. Kind of came out of nowhere and was excellent last year. And this year it's kind of been so-so. So, to be honest with you, I think the only place he might be able to move the needle for the Flames would be on the power play. And maybe that'll be enough. Maybe that's all they're looking for. They give up a third, I think, in 2020 for him. So, I mean, paid an okay price to get him. And I think they're hoping that he can help them out there. Winnipeg got Cody Eakin. Of course, they added some help to the blue line a little bit earlier. Cass, what do you think about? Obviously, they need help down the middle. I think they've got Andrew Kopp center in that second line right now with Brian Little basically done for the season, dealing with that puck to the head. What do you think about Cody Eakin? He's not having a great year, but center depth for the Jets probably not the worst thing to add.
Not the worst thing to add, and you're going to play him with some pretty good players, so he's gonna have some opportunity here. That little injury really hurts the Winnipeg. I don't know if we ever talked about that. That injury really hurts the Jets. I like the ad for them. I think it's a good move. He hasn't had the success that he'd like to have or that he had a couple years ago, but still a good player. Again, good depth signing, gives you just more room to wiggle up the middle.
What about the Sens, Gager? What do you think? They moved Pageau. They moved Nemesnikov. They moved Ennis. They've got a shitload of picks in the upcoming draft. They got so many picks where they could move up almost as high as they want, or use a couple of them, then flip guys for younger pieces that they could try to put into their lineup as well. So the flexibility is there. But what did you think of the job selling yesterday?
I think it's good, just based for their young players, Shabbat, Kachuk, that they're committed to winning in the future. I think just to plant the seeds in their cornerstones of going forward, to go, look, we're invested in our future. We want you guys to be part of it, and we're making sure that we're going to be a successful cup contending team over the next few years. So I think it's great. I think they were able to stockpile picks, as we've seen over the last few years. That's how you build your team.
Cassie, how many picks, did they have? 14?
I was only looking at the top 3 rounds when I was looking yesterday. Let me just bring it up here very quickly, because they've got 3 firsts. I think they've got 4 seconds and 3 thirds. And they could have 2 of top 4, top 5 picks, which is insane. Yeah, here's it. They've got 3 firsts, 4 seconds, 2 thirds, a 4th, a 5th, 2 sixths.
Wow.
So they've got a ton. And the next year, they've already got a 1st and 3 thirds, or 3 seconds. Wow. So this San Jose pick from the Carlson deal is insane. Like, how did it possibly? Well, I remember when they made the deal, people were like, oh, this is a great trade. And I was like, of course it's a great trade. There's no way that pick's going to end up being top 5 or top 10. And now here it is. I mean, there's a chance it could be the first overall pick, which is just insane how things worked out. So they kind of got lucky there.
Very lucky.
Yeah, you're right. They definitely got lucky.
Now they just have to actually.
Well, how quickly do you think you can turn it around?
Players.
How quickly do you think that they've got Kachuk, who they put a letter on already? He was wearing an A last night. Let's say they get, I don't know if they'll get Lafreniere. Well, Detroit, who knows what happens with the lottery? There's a chance they could get Lafreniere. But this is a pretty strong draft, at least like 10 to 20-ish sort of deep. How quickly can you turn it around? They've got 3 of the top 10 scorers in the American League. They're all 21 or younger, I believe. One of them might be 22. So there's some youth coming, but how quickly do you think you can actually turn it around?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
Would you put an asterisk on it?
I'd go with 3. Yeah.
Okay, now you got to have a goalie too, though, right?
That's the big.
Like that's the other. You're also.
But they have picks to trade.
Bingo. Exactly. You're right. You could pick up a goalie for a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Right.
You could package a 2nd and a 3rd and get someone pretty good.
Yeah.
Carey Price.
Wouldn't that be?
You have the
something?
cap space.
Hey, congratulations, Carey Price.
You went to
You're
a
going
rebuild.
from Montreal to Ottawa to help with their rebuild. That would be excellent.
Here's your train ticket.
I got to say, I do feel bad about Cody Eakin. I was thinking about this, but just being in a city where a guy like Carrot Top is embraced and has a show to go to Winnipeg, where I don't know whether the Gingers are as widely revered as they do in Vegas.
Ginger acceptance.
Ginger acceptance.
Ginger acceptance.
Write that down. That could be a possible name.
So,
Ginger acceptance.
I'm sorry about that, Cody.
Isn't Ginger Day coming up here?
Well, we gotta be careful with the ginger thing. I always get complaints that it's rude, that it's like bullying of gingers. But I respect gingers, man.
Well, I mean, I
have to.
always
My
feel
wife
like you need to make sure that on St. Patty's Day, like, you can be extra nice to them.
Because all redheaded people are Irish.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Is that a thing?
In some respect, yeah. More.
I just figured
more
it's
Norse, like
isn't
Vikings.
Isn't it everyone's Irish on St. Patty's Day? So
yeah, but that doesn't mean you're all like I don't wear a red wig when I go out or an orange wig, right? You dress up in green.
Yeah.
Gager, you tell us. You got is your wife Irish?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. All right, Leafs stay quiet. What do you think? What they move Hutchinson, Kelly Johnson coming in the other way. First of all, Dubas wearing that sweater yesterday.
Oh boy, he looked like Gazzola.
Well, he looked like a sharp dressed man. Look, he's a millennial.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just how he looks. Look, I wear the same lame dress shirts every single day. So I'll respect it. But for a guy who's in a tough spot already, rolls up there, I don't know what happens with the Leafs, man.
It was brilliant on his part to deflect.
Smart idea.
Get rid of the glasses, go with the with the shitty sweater, and just have people talking about the look rather than the play.
Well, mission accomplished.
Exactly.
Mission accomplished, especially since there was nothing to talk about. So he's like, okay, we got to do an availability with the Toronto media. What are you going to do? You know what? Contacts and a sweater. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. With that being said, how much do you think that sweater costs?
Oh, probably a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say like $350 probably.
Easily.
Would you ever spend $350 on a sweater?
If I was playing in the NHL, maybe. But
You did play in the NHL.
Did
you spend that much on a sweater back then?
No.
Did you guys buy really fancy clothes when you played in the NHL? No.
Some of my suits were expensive, which I wish I didn't spend because I go into Moore's now and I can still look good in a suit, and I don't have to spend that much money. It doesn't have to be our money.
They don't have to be. No, you can get a good suit for a decent price. You can get custom-made suits for a decent price now.
Yeah. The problem is the legs. I couldn't fit the legs in most.
That's always the
problem. And unfortunately, Hugo Boss made really good dress pants for hockey players.
They did.
There you go. Because of butts?
Yeah.
We would always go. I don't know if you guys ever did this because there's the AHL team in Cleveland, like the Lake Erie Monsters.
Yeah, they weren't there.
They weren't there. I didn't know if they were there. And there's a Hugo Boss factory outlet there. So every time you go there, and you had to have an appointment to get in. It wasn't just like a store people walk into. Like they have to book an actual appointment. And so every time we go there, the team would book. Like book in, and all the guys would go because you get a really good price, and the Hugo suits actually fit decently.
I recently got a clothing allowance with TSN for CFL, because CFL, they're like, listen, you dress like a hobo. It's time to get fancy. So
that's not true, Dusty. You look good on it. You clean up, not bad.
I've had this shirt for like 8 years. Don't wear
Well,
it.
it's not that. I'm not talking about that shirt.
Yeah. So anyway, I roll in there, and the custom fitting, so we went to Indochino, which has done some stuff with the Nation Network and stuff. I roll in there. I was getting fitted for a suit for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that's how it is, and that's how you. But that's not for me. I was just like, can I sit down for a second?
Have you got it yet?
Yeah, they all arrived. I have to go in for it. I got 4 suits, 8 shirts, 7 ties, and 7 pocket squares. So I'm gonna be like, Gazzola is gonna look very poor compared to what I'm going to be rolling in suit wise here. But now I have to go in and do all the fit. Like they put you.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to try on every single shirt?
Yeah.
I don't want to go in and try on 8 shirts, man. Just give
You
it
know
to
what
me.
though? But here's the thing, Dusty. Here's the thing: is you're gonna look good. You're gonna feel good.
You're gonna play
and
good.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
I
all.
already play good games. That's the thing. Anyway, so yeah, no, but it's anyway. Where'd that come from? We're talking about the Leaf suit. Oh yeah, Leafs. So yeah, they didn't do anything. Got us totally sidetracked off to custom suit fittings, but
See, it
Damn
worked.
Leafs.
Yeah, his plan worked.
Those damn Leafs.
Kyle Dubas, you genius.
It does work.
It took us 5 minutes to talk about the fact that they're gonna miss the playoffs, and he's not gonna be in trouble. I think that's why. Do you think that's why he didn't do anything crazy? Because he knows he's got more time to fix
He's
this.
got more time.
I don't know. He got beat by emergency backup. That's
Oh yeah, let's go there right now, because I was gonna talk about that a little bit earlier, or a little bit later. But the David Ayers story. I mean, he's not really going to make it till he joins us at some point. But I guess he'll have to go and do the Tonight Show and Jimmy Fallon and Good Morning
Colbert.
America and all those things first. Gager, you're the goalie. And were you excited for him? Were you kind of jealous that he got to live that? Like, what were you thinking?
well, like I mentioned to you earlier. I'm basically on a Dustin Nielsen fantasy camp today. So I went on.
Yeah, I know. I heard you earlier, and I was like, "Well,
I'm
these
living
guys are
the
really
life
hanging
of
out.
what he actually does. I'm actually going back to his place, and we're going to have a nap. But
I am going to have a nap. And the room I nap in has 2 beds.
oh my gosh, it's going to be like brothers.
You're gonna push them together and make one big bed.
Yeah, one is for sleeping, and the other one is for sleeping as well.
Step brothers.
All right, step brothers,
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We'll,
much room
we'll
for
make some bunk
activities.
beds. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. Ayers, unbelievable story. I love it. I thought it was great. I felt the anxiety of him going in when and those first 2 shots going in. I'm like, oh God, and I was just praying that it didn't end up 20-2, but I was so happy, and to see how the Canes rallied around him and played one of the most effective forward-checking defensive games. I'm sure Brendamore's got that tape and just dissecting it like ever and re-showing it to his players over and over again, because it was just a clinic of how to defend with the lead, and to see the celebration, the Toronto fans, and to see the smile on his face and winning a game where he probably thought it was a better chance of him going to the moon than being first star and beating the Leafs in Toronto. So yeah, I'm really happy for him. Awesome moment in hockey. We need more of that stuff.
2 hours earlier, he was probably just sitting to come there, have some popcorn, watch the game, and then he's beating the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto.
Amazing.
While wearing Toronto gear underneath his Hurricanes. Like it's a dream come true, man. Like it's a fairy tale cast. It's insane.
It's amazing. I love it. That type of thing, and now even look at the media tour for the NHL. Those type of stories.
Yes.
Like that. What other sport could that ever happen? Like what other sport could it be like? Oh, you have someone from the crowd that gets called down to take the free throw or to shoot the last shot of the game, like to win the game.
Or come in and close out the baseball game.
Come in and close, to pitch. Like you have an emergency pitcher in the stands.
Do we have any lefties in the stands?
Yeah, you have a backup lefty in the stands that occasionally will, pitch for batting practice and then comes in and throws like a couple heaters, 2 home runs. Like home run,
and shuts it down.
You're only up by a run now, and then just shuts it down the rest of the way. Like it will never happen in another sport. I know there's some people and some that I respect immensely that are like, oh, this is a problem that needs to be fixed. Does not need to be fixed. It is an amazing story. It's going to happen once every 10 years, and it was wonderful and awesome, and just like how many people are buzzing about hockey in the States because of this. It's great.
Here's the list of players who played in the National Hockey League this year who have been on some form of major media in the United States. David Ayers. That's it, man. Yeah. You don't see Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin or Alexander Ovechkin unless they win the Conn Smythe and the Stanley Cup. They're not on Jimmy Fallon. They're not with Stephen Colbert. They're not all plastered all over the Dan Patrick Show and all these things. It's the best thing that could possibly happen. Anybody who has a bone to pick with this is a dinosaur. Oh, it's just a dinosaur move.
It's a Cinderella story. It's a fairy tale.
He won.
Yeah,
it worked. Yeah, we said this one. It worked. I don't know. That's what you like. Yeah. If it was, I can see maybe someone saying we can't have this happen because the score ended up so lopsided.
Yeah,
but the team that got the goalie won. Like it works.
Yeah.
It's a proven method.
Okay, what about the other reaction to this from Leafs fans who are like, how in the fuck did we not beat our own Zamboni driver? So when you look at it from that perspective, Cass, and Gager, you mentioned it. Carolina locked things down. They didn't give up a ton of opportunities, but Cass, from a forwards perspective on the Toronto Maple Leafs, you go into that room after the game. What is going through your mind right now? Because the fan base is losing their shit. So
how are you be a fly on the wall in that room?
Yeah, how pissed off are you in that situation? Like you're thinking every time you get a shot on that guy, you're thinking to yourself, "Well, I got to score. He's a 42-year-old Zamboni driver," but then you don't.
Well, you probably scored the first 2. Like they got those first 2 goals.
Yeah, they got the 2.
Nah, we got this. No big deal. And then all of a sudden, Carolina locks it up. And
then scores, too.
I know, 2 of them.
And then the frustration is like, oh, wait a minute here. And it just gets worse and worse. You couldn't even. There was nothing you could say. Like I would just walk into the room and just go like, well,
complete silence.
Do you think? There's another thing I thought about. Do you think that because they scored the first 2, not only that it was going to be easy, but because this guy's their shooter tutor essentially, they didn't want to.
No, it's a playoff, right? There's no.
You think they wanted to go easy on him?
Well,
no way.
No.
Don't you think
not when they're down, when they got scored on a game? Maybe at first it crossed their mind.
Don't you think at least some of them thought about it?
Maybe, and then Carolina scores, and then you're just like, oh, boy.
Okay, that goes away. But that's what I mean. It's so hard. It's just like getting a lead and then playing a certain way that's that's almost unstoppable, and then taking your foot off the gas, but then trying to get it back is very difficult.
I guess it's different. I was going to say I do that at like charity tournaments sometimes.
It's different though. This is the National Hockey League.
Cass is like a switch at those
I
things.
was going to say, you know what, Gager, you know why he's saying no? Because at alumni skates, he does take it easy on you because you're his podcast co-host.
No, he doesn't.
No, not
what
a
it is.
Gager.
No,
last time we played though, I don't even think I had a shot on you.
No.
When you were in the other.
Was that the? I think I was pretty good that one.
You were pretty good. I kept trying to pass it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was a bad move by me.
You realize that Maple Leafs, the one reason they probably weren't going easy on him was because they knew if they lost, their GM was going to come out with no glasses on and a fancy sweater, right? And then actually, we'll talk about a little bit later, but some of the things he said didn't really go over well either. One more team to take a look at here, and then we'll come back around to Ayers a little bit later on. The Habs, there's a lot of talk about Jeff Petrie. There's a lot of talk about Thomas Tatar. They ended up moving Kovalchuk, who goes to Russiaville with Ovechkin and Kuznetsov, which is great. And then they moved, Thompson as well, Scandella, some minor pieces. Cass, you think in the end for Bergevin, this was the best way to go about it and keep these guys? I mean, if he wants to move Tatar next year, he'll get a pretty good price for Tatar next year, right?
I'm not going to say I think he did a great job of moving guys in, like Kovalchuk, Scandella, moving them out and improving his draft position and improving, getting more than he had to pay for those guys. Like
turn Kovalchuk into a third.
Into a third. That's a pretty for nothing. So pretty good move that way. My fear for the Habs is that they still end up in that same place they've been for the last number of years, which is that like middle purgatory of we're going to have some okay draft picks. We're not going to be, picking in the top 3, and we just kind of stuck in the middle.
And the draft's in Montreal this year.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like the perfect scenario would have been them stepping up and saying, we're taking with the first overall pick, Lafreniere. Like that would have been.
Can you imagine that?
Oh
like
my
Lafreniere.
By the way, kid, no pressure.
Yeah,
but I mean, that would have been a phenomenal moment for that organization.
Would have been massive.
They could still win the lottery.
Bergevin would buy himself like another 5 years if he did that. So
it's true, probably.
Dusty, we have lines for tonight.
Okay.
Oh.
Why do you put your head? Why do you do your eyes like?
Are we
First
talking about
line.
hockey?
First line.
Little bump.
Ooh, you shouldn't have said anything, Hernan. Nobody knows.
It's only Tuesday. First
How
line.
much do I owe you? Look, I don't do cocaine jokes very good. I've never done it, so this is all I know. Do we have papers? How does this work?
You roll
okay.
up a couple hundreds.
Ooh. All right. What do we got?
McDavid.
Okay.
Centering Athanasio and Tyler Ennis.
Whoa.
Draisaitl between RNH and Archibald.
Whoa. Sorry, guys. I just got excited there.
Granlund with Shahan and Chason.
All right. So things fall off a bit.
Kyra, Haas, and Russell. Top two pairings stay the same. Legason and Green Benning out.
Benning's out.
I don't
Really?
like that. See, I don't like that.
Benning. So Tippett really does
Not
like the lefty righty thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Also,
man,
Patrick Russell continues to live on.
Yes,
Still
he
has not
does.
scored. Finds a
Still
way
has
in.
So can I pick a bone with that? Like how he hasn't scored?
Pick
Sure.
away.
It's something that bothers me. Like with the whole, and I understand the game's changing, fighting less in the game. I get it. We've talked about that before, but all the time I heard over and over again is like, well, we need more points from the fourth line. We need more depth from the fourth line. These guys, you're going to go out and they're playing and the goals and the points per 60. And then it's like you have a guy that's supposed to still be a skill player that gets minutes, that plays, and he hasn't scored in how many games?
The whole season.
Well, I know, but how many games has he been in? So like what, 40 some games
He's
for
played
him?
more than 40, yeah. Probably
Like,
close to 40.
Give me a break. Like you had Tobias Reeder last year. Like they're just dumb arguments. Those arguments were all dumb. They bothered me then. They bother me now.
He's got 5 assists in 42 games.
Yeah. So come
So
on.
he's a playmaker.
Yeah.
They've all been really good assists.
Yeah.
They've all been really. All 5 of those assists were great assists.
Were they game-winning assists? Is that a stat?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Oh no, but the
Secondary
Green
assists.
Benning thing is interesting. Like,
I don't-
So obviously,
I don't like-
Tippett
I don't like it.
drives a hard line here because taking Benning out and leaving Legason into me is, to be honest with you, and I like Tippett, but it's a slap in the face to Benning.
It's a slap in the face to Benning. And last year, and I know Tippett, like where wasn't around, but Benning was one of the most consistent defensemen for them. And
Their record with Benning is
I was just about to say their
Yeah.
record with Benning, and if you look like through December when they haven't had Benning in the lineup versus when they have had, they have played way better, been way more consistent, and I think he just anchors it. And even from an emotional standpoint, he anchors the team a little bit. I do not like taking him out of the lineup.
Keep in mind the last 3 games, for some reason, if you look at the ice times, Benning's been the lowest. Like
They've dropped
Lagussen's playing like
Yeah.
2 minutes more than Benning, so obviously there's something there with Tip that he's not happy.
Yeah, they played less than 10 minutes as a pair on in that last game.
And Lagesson has played more than him though in the last 3-4 games.
Have you seen anything with Benning? I mean, obviously being here in Edmonton, we watched the Oilers quite a bit.
Has he made any? I haven't seen any huge colossal mistakes.
No.
I like the way he just defends. Like
Just
he's a
simple.
great defender.
And he lays good hits too.
yeah,
he
he's
plays
physical.
And do you want do you need, this is my thought. Do you need your power play is great. We can talk about it right now, but
Yeah, give her.
I know we're well.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to it on Keep Her Clip It,
So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not going to talk about that, but just in brief, because we're going to talk about it. Does Mike Green make your power play that much better that you're going to take out a guy that is, in my opinion, a much better defender? And that's not a knock against Mike Green. Benning's just a better defender than he is. Green's better offensively. Well, debatable still now, even with Benning. Is that going to make your team that much better? I don't.
I'm
think so.
surprised. I'm surprised by it.
I don't like it.
I knew Tippett was all over this right-hand, left-hand thing. But all right, let's do your Popeyes chicken poll question for Popeyes Louisiana chicken. Ghost pepper wings. Try them today. And those French fries are underrated too. We had some of those French fries yesterday.
And I
kicking
took
around.
I took corn on a cob and the mashed potatoes. Like everything was delicious.
Did you take that home?
Yeah, because
Fox move.
they were gonna throw it away. I was like, are you crazy? There was
these
like a
people
full
nuts?
box of chicken.
Holy! Did you take the chicken too?
Why did
I
you
took
bring
2
You
pieces.
bring the chicken in? Oh, you only took 2.
Should have brought leftover chicken here.
And the
That'd
chicken
have
wings
been
were good. The biscuits.
Those
Oh, those
biscuits are they're
Those butter sticks.
yeah. I was gonna say the biscuits. Like we were joking about doing cocaine earlier. That's probably the closest I've been.
Snorting a biscuit.
Yeah, it was hard to, right off the top of the biscuit.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's your poll question. Okay, post trade deadline, which Western Canadian team has the best chance to win the cup? Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, or Winnipeg? Which debatable if it's Western Canada, but I'm going to throw it in there right now. Do you see Winnipeg as Central Canada?
Yes.
I
Okay.
still view it as West
Me too.
for hockey
Do you?
standards.
Manitoba
For hockey
over is
standards.
West for
Oh
me,
no,
yeah.
no, you're right. I do because
Western Hockey League.
Western Hockey League.
Yeah.
That's my.
That's a
bad.
good point. All right, so Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, or Winnipeg. This is probably Edmonton heavy on our poll question, which kind of really frustrates me. We need to get our polls out to more people across the country. But what's the number right now, Hernan?
635 votes in, 92% for guess who?
Winnipeg Jets.
The Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver second at 5%, Calgary third at 2%, Winnipeg at 1%.
All right, so it's lopsided, but let's work our way through this. Cass, what's your answer? You can say it.
I'm one with the people.
Yeah. Gager?
I am a man of the people.
Hernan?
What's that? Sorry. I was reading some of the comments. I was reading some of the comments.
Sorry,
on
let
our
me say your real name. Shitty producer?
Yeah.
Which would you say Edmonton?
Right now, yes, because I really like the 3 players they brought in. I think the loss of Markstrom is huge. I'm not a believer in Winnipeg and Calgary.
Okay, then I'll be the odd sheep. Is that what it's called? The odd duck? Whatever.
Black sheep.
I'll say the Winnipeg Jets.
Wow.
I think if Connor Hellebuck gets hot, I think the Winnipeg Jets would be the hardest team to beat out of that group. I like Hellebuck more than any goaltender in Calgary, Edmonton, or Vancouver, including Markstrom. Sorry, guys.
Really?
Yeah, I think Hellebuck's
But what about
legit.
their decor?
Well, like I said, Hellebuck will have to be really good. But
Because Morrissey's out again.
Hernan, I'm trying to be the different guy in the group here, okay? So I'm saying Winnipeg. Let's just deal with it. Okay, outside of the Canadian teams, any teams you really like what they did here before the deadline? Anybody jump off the page?
Any other Canadian teams or just any team in general?
Any team in general. Any team in general.
Well, of course you got to look at the Hurricanes. Right?
Yeah.
They were busy. They were definitely busy.
They're going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
When it all comes around. Now that they have solid goaltending, I'd have to lean towards towards Raleigh here.
They got 2 injured goalies right now, too. They called up both their American League guys. What type of day would that have been for the American League goalies, eh, Gager?
Oh, that would have been
Both of you
just-
going up? Oh. Cass, anybody else around the league jump on it?
Hard to argue with Carolina. They did the most. I think they improved the most, and it really, as long as they play together well, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
The two that I liked, in addition to Carolina, I liked Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh doesn't F around. I guess I could have sworn, but Pittsburgh, they just don't mess around. They've got this win again. They got a really good team. They've already brought in Zucker. Now they bring back Connor Sheary, who they're obviously familiar. He's a UFA, and they got Rodriguez as well, but I still thought they sent a pretty good young guy back the other way. Then they go and get Patty Marleau. Like the Penguins, being a Penguins fan, and maybe this is what the Oilers eventually become, because the Red Wings were like this too, right? The Red Wings were like, what are we going to do? Okay, bring in Shanahan. Let's keep this thing going. Bring in Brett Hull. Let's keep it. Go get Dominic Hasek. Keep this thing. Like, they always just found a way, and I think that's what Pittsburgh's trying to do right now. So I like Pittsburgh. On the other side of things, if I was a player on the Florida Panthers, I'd be pretty pissed off right now.
Yep.
Like you hear ownership, it comes out that ownership has already told your general manager, who they let spend freely this past offseason and give $10 million to a goaltender. And now all of a sudden you have to cut payroll by $10 million for next year. Like, what the hell are you doing? How are you
Analytics, man.
And they're this close.
It's analytics.
They're this close to playoffs.
That they flipped a number of years ago to where they were so focused on, we're going to be pure analytics so we can do this under this amount of cap space. And it hampered them then, and now it's hampering them again. And I think it's the same mindset.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why
It's
what's the tough guy from Boston went there?
Thornton.
Yeah, he lost his marbles.
Yeah, I had a conversation with him about it.
Did you?
once.
Yeah,
I think it wasn't. I shouldn't say he didn't lose his marbles in the conversation. Like, and it was a very.
He went up to management, I heard, and yelled, like, what are you guys doing?
I don't know if he actually did that, but I know he was frustrated.
Yeah.
It's extremely frustrating. So, and then there's some teams that didn't do much, but I mean, whatever. See what they roll with. Kreider or Pageau? Which contract do you like more? Was it 7 at 6.5 for Kreider, or
5 for Pageau.
5 by 5?
Yeah.
I like Pageau more. I think he's able to do more up by himself. He's more of a player you put people with. I think Kreider's more of an additional piece. You have to find a really good player to play with Kreider. You have to have someone that can give him the puck and utilize his speed more. And I know he probably couldn't have come here just because of cap reasons, but I would have really liked to have seen a line with McDavid, Kreider, and Cassian together. Zach. And you two. I wouldn't mind
And
seeing
Mike
that.
Green.
It's Mike Green.
But mostly Zach Green.
We are not the same.
Thank you to Kelly, who's commenting a lot on the Facebook stream today. I think he said he's watching this while he's at work. So what a great way to
Good
get
for
paid.
you.
Right, if you can listen to this podcast or watch the stream while you're at work,
Wow.
you're living a good life right there.
Oh, Kelly Krause?
Yeah.
I know him.
Do you work with him?
I used to.
Oh, so he's a cable guy?
He used to be inspector. He'd inspect my work.
Wait a second. So you go and install cable and then some other dude comes over and checks it out?
Yeah.
Nobody ever came to inspect my cable.
Yeah, I came. You didn't need any inspection.
I think I know him too. I was in a draft when we did it with Dino on the night show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Oh,
Right
he's a
on.
great guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly.
All right. Here we go. Let's play Keep It or Clip It. Sport Clip Haircuts, where it's good to be a guy. Home of the MVP experience. They've got that second location coming out in Sherwood Park right now down in Ellerslie Landing. If you want to look really good looking like us, then go visit. You know what? Sport Clips needs to edit. Like, I don't know if I should be saying that. Like, I don't know if we're the best endorsements for look like me by going to sport. I'm going to say go get a good haircut.
You know what?
And they'll look out to you. Nice people, too.
Well, I usually do my own hair at times when I can't get to Sport Clips.
Okay.
But I missed this.
I know. I didn't want to say anything.
I got the streak on the back.
I saw it today when we were standing at the radio station. I looked over on this side, and right about here, I was just like, I think Gager missed a good chunk of his head today.
Yeah, why wouldn't you tell me though?
Well,
Like, just let
because
me
I
roll
thought
like that?
maybe it was like a
new look?
malformation or something, and like
no.
you could only
symbol.
shave so far there.
No, it's when a puck hit me and then spun up.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Cass, take a look at the side of his head right
I
there.
know. I see it. It's awesome. I love it.
Oh, that's
good.
nice.
You know what?
Looks good, buddy.
Can
Yeah.
you show the camera?
I don't think
No.
you'll be able to turn around that much.
No.
That's okay.
I got to go to Sport Clips and get this.
Yeah, get that taken care of. All right, question number 1. We kind of already hit on this, but let's dive into it a little bit further. Mike Green will make the Oilers' power play even better.
Oh,
keep it or clip it.
Keep it. They're going to 40%.
Yeah.
You're
40, 45, maybe even 50%.
I know somebody's commented in the section before and says they like Sass Cass, but I'm not
it
sure
just
I'm agreeing
doesn't-
with that.
Like, how do you, if it Bear goes down, Nurse goes down, Clefbaum goes down, and he needs to run your first unit power play, or one of those guys is playing so horrible up there that you need to put him in, great.
I bet you he
why-
plays there tonight.
Why
I think
fix
so,
what's
too.
not broken? Like, it's not broken. It hasn't. And the percentage with McDavid, like McDavid makes a bigger difference to that defensive or that power play unit than any of the defensemen do. The defensemen are there. They play their role. If they get pucks through, great. But it runs through McDavid. He's going to be the one that's driving it. He drives his zone entry. So it's not going to make your power play any better at all. So what's the point? And now you have a guy that's on your defensive end that I think is worse defensively than Benning. It just, again, I know he looks like me, and that makes me have a special place in my heart.
No, I think you're
but
jealous of him. I think you're
maybe.
mad because there's another Cassian lookalike in town now.
Not only it's my name now. Someone's got my name, but they got my face.
The Oilers are building
everything.
themselves around you, Cass.
Everything.
Gazer, keep it or clip it.
I'm gonna clip it. Yeah.
Okay, but talk about the right shot perspective for a defense or a goalie.
Well, it does give that one timer from because McDavid plays that side. But it's so like, well, I'd like to see it. Let's see it because, like I said before, it is a skill to get the puck through. I do think that Green's offensive ability is more than Clefbaum, but I don't know.
I'm just looking at Cass, and you do look like Mike Green, man. It was funny to see this sit there.
You should wear the jersey.
Yeah, we should get you a
Backwards.
green jersey backwards. All right. Hernan, you think they get to Green on the power play at some point?
I think we'll see a bit of him tonight.
I bet you see a bit of him tonight.
Oh yeah.
And they're taking Benning out to get him in. Like, because he waived his no trade to come here. So I have a feeling that Ken Holland told him, hey, man, you're coming here, you're playing every night, and we're going to get you on the power play.
Should be scratched.
All right, question number 2. It's still way too early to start wearing shorts despite warmer weather. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it. Absolutely.
I've seen a
it's
lot of
too
people
early.
wearing shorts.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I saw 2 people on Saturday wearing shorts.
Depends on the legs. You know, have you been in the squat rack? Have you been doing the proper?
So you think if you
lunges?
have more muscular legs, it's okay to wear shorts right
then
now?
it's fine. No one and a little bit of a tan. You don't need like.
You don't need legs
don't need-
that blend with the snow.
Well, yeah, you don't need sunglasses to look at someone's legs, but yeah, if you got them, flaunt them, baby.
After signing Chris Kreider, the Rangers will be a playoff team next year. Keep it or clip it.
Clip it.
Whoa.
They're
Whoa.
not. They're a few years away. Too young, and Kreider's not going to make that much of a difference on his own. They need someone.
Well, you've always hated Ryan Strome, apparently. Strome's having a great year. He's
He
going to be
is,
like
yeah.
65 points.
Yeah, but they need more than.
He's
more.
riding shotgun with Panarin, though. So,
Yep.
Cass, what do you keep it or clip it?
I'm going to clip it. He moves the needle. He helps that he's going to stay. But, yeah, I don't think they're quite there.
Can I answer this one?
Sure.
Keep it.
Nice.
How's that to mix it up? I think because of Shesterkin. That dude is phenomenal. Have you seen this guy play? He's the guy who got in the car accident, cracked his rib or displaced his rib or whatever with Buchnevich. Yeah, I think they're going to be a playoff team next year. And I'm going to go further. I'm going to say he's in the running for the Vezina.
Wow.
Wow.
How crazy am I getting today?
What-
Sometimes you got to have a hot take, and that's mine.
What happened to the king there?
So the King's getting moved.
He's going to Colorado.
Oh God, no.
All right, the Leafs need to change a piece of their core in the offseason. Keep it or clip it.
Yeah, I would have to. No, clip it.
What are you doing then? They got to do something.
You gotta think they can turn it around, don't you? Like you've invested this much into it, they're gonna need a. I don't know.
Keep it.
Good answer.
Keep it.
This is now keep it, clip it, or
Keep
I
it.
don't know.
Keep it. It's
You're
broken.
keeping it?
It's broken.
So what piece? What do
I
you
don't
think?
know what you need to do.
Nylander?
I'm not coming here with the solution today, but Nylander
Hey.
probably is the first one to go.
I mean,
You gotta keep it. You have to do something. You need to change something. You need to trade one of those young guys and maybe allocate a little bit more money to the defense, and a little bit less to sweaters.
I know you look like Mike Green, But you just did a perfect Kyle Dubas impression when you said, "I'm not here with the answers."
Yeah.
Because that's
But he
that's
should
what
be
he
there
laid
with
out.
the
I know,
answers.
but he laid it out. He said, "I don't have the answers for you. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you." And I'm like, dude, this is your. You put this together.
Your
Like
own
they've
thought.
got like I think 11 players that weren't there. Like the around that core. These are all little guys that he's kind of put in there. It's a tough one.
You make a good point, Cass. Yeah, getting rid of Nylander or something. Something's not right with those guys.
If
Maybe
you could,
Tavares.
Something's in the water.
Yeah.
Here we go. If you could move Nylander for, I don't even know, but if you could move him and get what you think you need and manage to keep Tavares and Matthews and Marner,
Move
might be
Tavares to Ottawa for Chuck. Right?
that's going to, well, Tavares didn't wear Sens PJs, so that's not going to allow that. Ice cream cake is better than regular cake. Keep it or clip it. I'm in the middle of 3 birthday parties here in a row these last 3 weekends. So
Is it just straight cake or is it like cheesecake pot? Like
no,
what?
it's just like
Regular
a
cake.
regular cake. That's what it says. Regular cake.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm not a fan of regular cake.
Keep it. Regular cake is garbage.
Yeah.
Why is it garbage? My wife,
Well, it feels
especially
like
if she's
I'm
watching
eating
or
air,
listening,
and there's
it's
like
so
nothing in
good.
it crumbly.
And
or-
then you get the icing.
Yeah.
Ice cream cake is the one that's overrated. That fudge, what are you doing there? It doesn't make any sense. Alexander Ovechkin getting to 800 goals would lock him in as the GOAT of scoring goals.
Clip it because he already is.
He needs. Ooh, okay, all right, all right. I like it. I like
you
it.
Stole exactly what I was going to say.
Great minds.
Yes. Yeah. No.
So he already is it.
he is the.
So he
the
doesn't need
greatest.
the record.
No. No. Not at all.
You know what? Maybe it's because we're a little bit younger here, but I'm starting to get tired of people trying to make a case against him. I saw a lot of people on Twitter over the weekend being like, well, Gretzky was being hooked and held a lot. And I'm just like, first of all, teams barely played defense back then. And goaltenders took up half the size of the net that they do now. Like,
You could take
come
a
on.
slap shot on the ice from the blue line and it goes in.
Yeah, exactly. Because the goalie was trying to make a freaking kick save.
Yeah.
The old
Like-
kick save.
Like,
Yeah.
if you transplanted Ovechkin, even with a wooden stick, into the 80s with his speed and his size, it would be unfair.
I'd be in the box because they keep calling him for stick infractions.
Yeah.
That hook.
All right. The Flames will finish higher than the Canucks due to the Markstrom injury. Keep it or clip it.
That's a good one. I'm going to keep it. I think the Canucks are doomed now, unfortunately.
I'm going to clip it. I think they rally and they finish ahead of the Flames.
You love the Canucks. Or did you love
I just
the Flames?
hate the Flames.
What do you-
I loved the Flames, then I hated the Flames, then I kind of liked them, and now I hate them again.
You're the biggest Calgary flip-flopper I've ever seen in my life.
Sure.
In a do or die game, we still take Gager over David Ayers. Keep it or clip it.
How old is Gager at this point?
Well, Ayers is 42. What are you?
I'm 46.
So it's pretty close.
Our NHL type game, like if you were to put me in the game,
Let's say you were both the E-Bug,
the E-Bug,
and then
okay?
they said, oh, we need somebody. And they looked up at the press box, and you and David Ayers are sitting there, and they said, one of those two guys right now. And you have to pick one.
Yeah, I'd have to pick Ayers right now because I'm
Modest. He's modest.
I suck.
I'm picking Gager every time.
I think I'd take Gager, too.
Well, thanks,
More
guys.
experience.
More experience, has played under pressure.
He's got
Yeah,
the Cape Breton shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah, does David Ayers have a cool move where he opens up his legs and then closes them?
I have to ask his wife.
Oh my goodness! All right, so there you go. That is Keep It or Clip It for Sport Clip Haircuts, where it is good to be a guy. Canadian teams. We talked about this. Who do we have? Mac T, I guess. When Mac T was on the episode, we talked about Canadian teams winning the Stanley Cup. And I think Mac T said, "Yeah, Canadian team is going to win the Stanley Cup." Do you think with what the Oilers have done, and when you look at how the Pacific Division, because we already talked about Canadian teams, but Vegas goes out and adds Robin Leonard. And I thought their only real weakness was that their goaltending had been shitty so far this year. So now you get Leonard to solidify that. I think Vegas is going to be a tough out. And then whoever comes out of the Central, that's not going to be easy either. But what are your new expectations for an Oilers team that added Ennis Athanasiou and Mike Green, who has forced Matt Benning out of the lineup?
You got to win around, at least.
Right? I would think.
You gotta
right?
win at
You got to
least one.
beat Calgary or Vancouver, Arizona in that 2-3 matchup.
Yeah.
So you got to take care of that business first, get that spot, preferably home ice, and then at least advance to take on likely Vegas.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, it's a disappointment then? Yeah.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
think at this point with the injuries to Vancouver, even with Vegas, like Fleury not being Flower-like, we'll see how Leonard solidifies that. But yeah, I think the Oilers, just with their amount of picks, the guys that came in that can replace guys. If someone gets injured and someone's not playing well, I think the Oilers are a favorite to come out.
Hernan, what do you think?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, obviously I'm a little biased for the Oilers.
Yeah.
I still like Vancouver. I think Toffoli's a great addition. I like their defense. And
If Markstrom's healthy in the playoffs,
Yeah.
Demko too.
Demko's been good, but
Yeah.
again with Gager, I think it's Edmonton, Vancouver, Vegas. Vegas is coming on, man, and they got Leonard now. Like they can rest Fleury. He's been kind of hit and miss this year. So those three teams for me, I don't think I'd put Edmonton at the top. I'd still go Vegas.
Yeah, I'd go Vegas too, even though Edmonton has the one thing that none of these guys have, and that's McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
So maybe that ends up being the major difference. All right, that is episode 41. Gager, who do we got coming in episode 42?
Brantt Myhres, friend of old junior colleague of mine.
He's a really nice guy, right?
awesome guy.
Yeah.
Way better stories than I could ever even come up with that are actually true. And I believe he's signed a deal to write his
writing
memoirs.
books.
Oh, no way.
So we won't. You'll have to write. You'll have to buy the book to get all the stories, but
We'll get a tease.
I think I can get it signed for you.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
A
That'll be
signed
good.
copy. A signed copy.
Yeah. So that's so he'll be in with us on Thursday at noon, and then obviously you can download the podcast whenever the hell you want because that's how podcasts work. Hernan, what do we got for a name today?
Ginger acceptance, and then snorting a biscuit.
Ooh, snorting a biscuit is good. Ginger acceptance. What do you want? What are you feeling, Cass?
I'm good with either of those.
Gager?
Well, if my wife sees the ginger acceptance, she might like that. so.
Okay, yeah, let's do it then. For Gager's wife, who, by the way, is pretty attractive. Right? Isn't that's a creepy thing you're supposed to say, right? Just like you. All right, that's going to do it for episode.
Megan Gage is. I won't finish it. No.
One fine Pete. No. Okay, that's it. We're going to wrap up. Well, Billy Madison, right? Is that where we were going? That's where we were going. Yeah, that's right. All right, for our presenting sponsor, Oddshark, visit them at oddshark.com. Popeyes, legendary Louisiana chicken, and Sport Club haircuts, home of the MVP experience. For Hernan Salas, Matt Cassie, and Joaquin Gage, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Brantt Myhres in studio with us on Thursday. Thanks for listening to episode 41.